Hello and welcome back. There's a few things I want to talk about today, but before I do, let's kind of go over what's going on over the last few days. I didn't record a video yesterday because there was no activity. There was no activity today either. This stuff over here, this is tomorrow's stuff, but I figured it's relevant for the stuff that I want to talk about today. So I'm leaving it in there. So we've had no trades closed in the last 2 days. We've got this basket that opened, well, the third trade went in 2 days ago. The price has been going against us pretty steadily, but I noticed something that I hadn't noticed before. Actually, it was one of my YouTube followers, Andras, who noticed that the stop loss is, if I go here and look at the stop loss, this stop loss is actually 3 stop losses, and they are all not where they're supposed to be. So if I go from here, this is the first trade that went in. If I go up 160 pips, that's that white line right there. So that's about 160 pips from the first trade. That should be my first stop. The next one should be about 20 pips away, but same distance from here to here, right, would be from there to there. And the third one would be here, where all 3 of them are. And the reason why that happened is because the broker that I'm using, and I'm not sure why they changed this, because it wasn't always like this, but in order for them to be FIFO compliant, anytime you change any of the stops on any positions on the chart that are of the same size, that's what they told me. So there's 3 positions here, they're all of the same size, and if I modify the stop or take profit on any one of them, all of the positions will be updated to have that same stop, which totally screws with my algorithm, because my algorithm relies on 3 distinctly different stop losses. And then when one of them, like for example where this white line is, which I'll explain what that is later, when the price hits that and takes out this trade here, a new trade would go in pretty close to that price, and that forms a new basket of 3, and that moves the break-even line so that I can hopefully get out of that round before I take any more losses, and so on and so forth, right? So each trade would get stopped out one at a time instead of all of them getting stopped out at once. So not only would all trades get stopped out at once, but they'd get stopped out at this ridiculously far distance away, which is what? Let's see what that is. It's 200. It's just over 215 pips, something like that. And so, yeah, we don't really want that to happen, because if that stop gets triggered, or if those stops get triggered, then we're wrecked, right? I'm just pushing the margin limits on this thing so that at 160 pips I lose some amount, 180 pips, 200 pips, right? And then I have that basket that hopefully would recover some of the losses before all 3 trades get stopped out. But if all 3 trades get stopped out, I'm pretty much wrecked. I can't afford another loss, right? But because these are all at the furthest point away, there's a pretty good chance that if I do hit that stop, I won't be able to afford any more trades whatsoever. So yeah, so there's kind of a weird situation here. So the plan for now is, this account that I'm on right now is my live account, and right now I have my trade copy software, the master software that sends the trades to the server for the copiers to pull from. This account that we're looking at right here is the one, this is the master account. So what I'm going to have to do is create a demo account with this, essentially the same amount of money, the $497 or whatever, or about $500, let's say, make it the master account, put the trade copy software on this guy, but first I have to modify the trade copy software to ignore the stops and not try and add or modify stops to these trades. So these trades will be running with no stops, and which is a risk in itself, but it's really the only solution if I want to keep this account going and try and reach that $100,000 goal. Otherwise, I have to find another live account with similar parameters and start from scratch with the $250, blah blah blah, right? Or even start with $500 on a brand new account and pretend like I'm continuing where I left off. And I'm really not too interested in doing that. I want to use this account to get to our goal. And also this experience that I'm having with the broker, it's good to document this, and it's good to talk about it because this is the kind of crap that happens, right? You find a broker, you think everything's hunky-dory, and maybe everything works just great for a time, and then something changes, and now all of a sudden a system that you developed or something just either stops working or doesn't work as effectively, or just, these changes, they happen, and it happens all the time. And and so different brokers, like I'm in the USA, so I have to use a FIFO broker, or I have to use an overseas broker that's not afraid of US regulators, right? But I prefer to use a US broker. And one by one, all the US brokers stopped working with my algorithm. I had an account on Oanda, and Oanda, they do something totally different for their FIFO compliance. Like they do something where, like, I can't even do as much on their platform as I can on this one. So my algo just will not work at all. As soon as it places the second trade, like I start getting all kinds of errors and just stuff. It's just crazy, right? So this was the best one that I had until just recently, when they decided they're gonna really mess with my stops and screw with my algorithm. So this is the kind of drama that you're gonna face, when you're trading live accounts and trading Forex. And you got to be prepared, because sometimes these things happen. Like this one, for example, this is kind of a showstopper. Technically speaking, I should turn this thing off, I should stop trading it, and I should go find another broker that's going to work with my system, right? But my choices are really limited. I've already got all this time invested into this account, so I have to find some kind of workaround. And the workaround right now, as if I think, because there may be issues with just having, but I'll talk about that later after I do the tests and determine whether it's going to work or not. But find a workaround, get to where I can be back up and running again, and and just kind of move on, move forward, right? And try and achieve the goal that we're setting out to do. And so it's one of those things where it's like, well, it sucks, and it's frustrating, and I've got all this work that I need to do now to make it all work. But hey, the fact that this is happening and I'm recording it and somebody sees this, maybe this will help them to not get into this kind of situation, right? Or maybe this will just help people to prepare to face situations like this, where something out of the blue changes, some regulation changes, or some legislature or something, and all of a sudden Forex account behaves differently. So that's enough babbling about that. One thing I do need to mention is that I have to get out of this round and have all these trades closed before I can make that switch over to a demo account. And so I've got my alerter indicator on here because I can't sit here and stare at the chart all day long. And I have my alerter indicator, and these two white lines are actually a channel, upper and lower boundaries. And I can kind of show you, let me see, I might have the sound turned on. Let's see if this works. If I can, I should be able to drag this guy. But this line here, actually I'm going to drag this one because this one's right at my break even. If I move this line, oh, let's move it up. If I move this line, that's not the one. Let's see if I can grab it. No. Okay. Let me see if I can grab that. There we go. What this line basically does is, this is me telling the alerter that when the price goes below that line, to give me an alert, right? So if I move this line above the price, on the next tick I should get an alert, unless I don't have that set. Oh, there it went, right? See, it says up here, alert, price beyond buy sell line. Okay, and so I have that one around my break even, near my break even. And then this one, I have it set to, it's about 160 pips away from the first trade. And if you notice, the current price is closer to that line there than it is to my break even. So I'm a little concerned. And then if you look at the Donchian channel, it's a pretty steady upward trend. Except for this part here. This was really frustrating because when that last trade went in, price shot up a little bit and then dropped down almost to break even. If it had gone maybe another 15 pips, we wouldn't be in this situation right now. But I probably wouldn't have noticed this whole fiasco with the stop losses. So, you know, something good came from it, but there's a pretty good chance we're going to get wrecked. If I let these trades go all the way up to where the stop losses are. So when I get my alert, if the alert is above this line, I'm probably going to, I'll have to kind of evaluate the situation and see, what do I do? I mean, maybe the best thing to do at that point is just close everything, take the hit, and see kind of where we're at. But I'll have to look at what my equity is at that point. Right now I'm down over $100, right? So like if I close things right now and I'm not even anywhere close to that line, my account balance is going to drop by $100, right? That's not going to be pretty. So I'm hoping that this thing does retrace before it goes any further against me. Oh, the margin level too. There's something else that I forgot to mention. So my algorithm, my bot, checks the margin level constantly. And if the margin level gets down to 110%, that's a panic point right there. It says, okay, start closing positions. Because if it gets down to 100% or below 100%, then the broker is going to start closing positions. So it's my own internal margin call, basically. So when I get to 110% margin level, it starts closing trades in FIFO order. We're at 138%. So not too far to go to get to 110%. And there's a pretty good chance that the 110% will get reached before we get to this line. But I'm not entirely sure of that. No, because in all my back testing and stuff, the back test showed that, okay, I did get stopped out a few times on 1 and 2, and I never reached the 110% stop level. So I think we're good there. So we have the alerter. Now the alerter is really cool, actually. Okay, I'll do a separate video going over how the alerter works and stuff. I do need to make a set of videos to show how to use the software, the OB Forex software, because it's got, I mean, you've already seen some of the indicators. You've seen the Donchian channel, you've seen the trade history, the trade profit. Look at my trade profit. Can you see that? Let's see, what does it say? It says I'm at $1.89 per. So basically that's telling me every trade I close, gives me about $1.89, right? At the current time. We've gone over the spike indicator. We've gone over the Donchian channel. We've gone over the trade history. Yeah. And then the trade profit. All of these things come with the software. And there's one called the alerter, which is this guy. And that one basically has all these settings to say, okay, if the price crosses the Donchian boundary, then send an alert or send a push notification to your phone, right? There's this custom indicator thing where, a custom boundary thing where I set the boundaries by dragging these white lines and say, okay, when the price goes above the buy line or below the sell line, send a push notification to my phone, or do an alert on the screen and on the speaker like I showed you earlier. For the trend channel, the support resistance, just like all of it, right? You can do alerts on all of that stuff, and that's what the alerter indicator is. Even the spike, I can say if a spike is triggered, then send an alert, right? That sort of thing. So it's really a useful tool. And I've included a link to the software in the description, so if you're interested, check it out. And remember that you're going to get the old version, which is a Tony Manso Forex, which will be rebranded as Oddbeaker Forex, but there's not much difference between the two, just mostly the name. And maybe I cleaned up a few things, but I can't remember for sure. For the most part, it's the same. And when you do buy the software and you install it, you know, you'll be able to log into the website, and when I have a new update, then you'll be able to download the new versions. Is there anything else? I guess that was it. I mean, we've got some kind of big changes coming because of this mess with the broker, and so I'm needing to, first I need to get out of this trading round, right? And hopefully we're going to get out in profit, which will put us over $500, which would be really awesome. Or worst case, I hit all three stops and we're just completely wrecked, right? I'm probably back down to $250 or $200 or something, and I might have to put more money in the account and start over, which would really suck. But you know, if I need to do that, that's fine too. But once I get out of this round, then I need to make the changes. Like I said, I need to change the trade copier, which fortunately I wrote myself, so I know how to change it. I need to switch the master. I need to create a demo account and make it the master account, as opposed to this account that we're looking at now. And I need to put the trade copier on this account after I make the changes that will enable this thing to manage the positions in the way that the algorithm is designed to work, right? I think that was it, really. That was, yeah, I'm just really kind of frustrated, you know, just like things were going so well, we were doing pretty good. I mean, yeah, this round that we got in was not looking all that great, and we're pretty close to the first stop level, or the first, you know, stop price. And so when I get that alert, I'll check and see what the equity is. And if the equity is not too bad, maybe I'll just close all the trades, and you know, and then that'll give me opportunity to switch everything over, and then we can kind of start over from the new account balance. Yeah, that's all I got. But hey, it's a good experience for you guys to see, you know, a day in the life of a Forex trader and all the crap. You know, if I had millions and millions of dollars to trade with, the brokers would be kissing my butt, right? I'd be telling them, hey man, my algo doesn't work with this thing, and if you don't fix this, I'm gonna have to move to a different broker. I'm gonna have to take my $10 million to another broker. I tell you what, they would fix it they'd fix it before they were done reading the email. You know. but you know, I've got $400 in the account. They're not going to give me the time of day, right? So I have to do something to make up for that, so that I can continue working with this broker. And you're going to run into stuff like that too. So, okay, that's all I've got for today. I know it was kind of a long video, but there was a lot of important information that needed to be mentioned in there. I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm glad that you're on this journey with me. And be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video.